to normal. Sonic the Hedgehog. He's a blue dude. He goes real fast. He wears red shoes. He's got green eyes. Not all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes his eyes are just black, but sometimes they're green. Most of the time they are green. And we talk about things like that here on Sonic Weekly, the weekly, every 7 days or so, Sonic the Hedgehog podcast. My name is Grant, and with me, as always, as usual, almost always, it's Bo. Hi, Bo.
Here we go, buddy. Hey, sometimes Sonic's eyes are blue, unlike mine, which are never blue.
That's true. When he gets really charged up, sometimes they're blue, and when he's supersonic, sometimes they're red. Speaking of red, as in red hot, that's the star of the show, out of the shadows into the spotlight, David the Lurker. Hi, David.
Whoa, hi, Grant. Hi, Bo. That's right. Red hot. Sometimes Sonic's eyes are brown as well. They have a hint of brown to them.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
That's right. I remember it became very pronounced in Archie at one point, where they were like, look, he's got color in that iris. And then his eyes became green anyway. But you know what else is brown? It's this 50 milliliter bottle of chocolate flavored vodka that I have in my hand.
Okay.
Why am I saying that? I don't know.
Why are you saying that? And opening it with what else is brown? We got to work on your...
We can cut all...
Got to work on your openers, buddy.
Did you get that in your trick-or-treat basket?
Right. That's right. I'm celebrating... What am I celebrating? Nothing. That's what I'm celebrating.
Yeah, you're celebrating. You're in a celebratory mood.
No.
We're all celebrating the accolades trailer of Sonic the Hedgehog. There's a lot of news.
There's a lot of news.
Cover. And people will look back on this episode and say, well, what were they talking about, November 2024? Well, we were talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, Shadow the Hedgehog generations, and all of the wonderful Sonic news and lore. And wife of the Grant, who is me, who also provides some of our bonus rewards to our Ko-Fi supporting dear, dedicated, devoted listeners. Ashlyn Anstee is back on the show. Hi, Ashlyn.
Hello. I like that I've become wife of the Grant. That's a fun little pitch. If you support the Ko-Fi, you get stickers and other goodies mailed that are all handmade by myself.
I got them in my mailbox in the last week, and they're a big hit with the kids.
Whoa.
They are real, live things that you can stick. They adhere. They're everything you want in a sticker.
They're waterproof. You can stick them on your cups.
Oh.
You can cover your cups.
You can put them on your laptop.
I think they kind of encourage one to draw their own versions of these characters as well and get into fan art and drawing and so forth. What do you think about kids drawing, Ashlyn?
I think they shouldn't draw and they should stop being creative. No, that's great. Sonic inspires a lot of fan art in general. I think that's always been a hallmark of the franchise, is like how creative all Sonic fans are.
But he's easy to draw for kids.
I can only draw Sonic.
Yeah.
The only thing I can draw is Sonic.
I can draw Batman's head, but I can also draw Sonic. Mostly Sonic.
Well, you can draw Batman's head on Sonic.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to draw like a two-headed chimera style?
Yeah.
Like
every day.
every day.
Those are my morning pages.
That's what's on your wall. It's just lots of heads every day you wake up.
The Sonic Doodle and the Bad Religion logo. That's like my entire high school notebooks.
Okay, no, obviously there's big news, and and our listeners are wondering if we're going to talk about it. So let's get straight into it. Rings of Saturn is covering the Dreamcast now.
Yes, it's a big day for the Rings of Saturn. So we are covering our first Dreamcast game, Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future from Appaloosa Interactive. And at the top of the Hacker News website, which is the techie website, I have had more traffic today to the Rings of Saturn than any other day, maybe combined.
Wow.
It's been on the front page all day. And people are
congratulations
big into Echo and big into the Dreamcast. So
wow,
what's new about Echo, you might ask? Well, way back in the Dreamcast era, you could go on the screen where you put in your initials, like your save game for your VMU.
Sure.
And if you previously, people knew that if you put in GU, GYU, 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 it would unlock all the levels for you. You don't have to play through them. And God, those games are hard. So this is quite the cheat code. But I found, hey, there's like 4 other special names you can put in there, and they do other stuff like unlock Dolphin Soccer,
What?
the prototype of Rocket League, but it's underwater with dolphins,
Whoa.
and
That
Wow,
sounds amazing.
that's exciting.
debugging info. You can put that up on the screen, and immortality mode, which prevents Echo from drowning. So he's a dolphin. He's got to go up in the air and breathe,
Sure.
unless you have the immortality code.
Whoa.
Wow.
That would be convenient in real life.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I could
immortality,
live
definitely.
right. Could go
For
to
sure.
the bottom of the ocean and just hang out there.
And David,
Yeah.
it is worth celebrating this Rings of Saturn news. So how does it taste? How is your chocolate flavored vodka?
It kind of tastes like chocolate, and it also pretty much just tastes like straight vodka.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right, I have
makes a lot
nothing
of
to
sense.
chase this with. I didn't think this through. It was literally, I sat down, plugged in my mic, and went, oh yeah, I bought this sample vodka thing. It's just been sitting on my desk. Let me drink it on Sonic Weekly. And I didn't go any further than that.
It'll be a good storyline to follow.
I mean, you're celebrating Echo the Dolphin, and dolphins are historically a brown creature.
Yes.
Ashlyn, are you...
I mean, Echo the Dolphin is worth celebrating.
Are you into Echo the Dolphin? Do you know the Echo the Dolphin
vibe?
vibe?
Yes, actually, when Grant was going through his Dreamcast era, his Taylor Swift Dreamcast era recently, we picked up Echo the Dolphin. And actually, one of my best friends, Emily, who is not a gamer at all, she said Echo the Dolphin was the only game she remembers. She was like, yeah, I played Dreamcast. I played that dolphin game. And so we pulled up Echo the Dolphin. I think it's beautiful. It's definitely one of the first indie games. It's a lot of games from that era where I'm like, who made this? How did somebody okay this?
Well, so do you know that the backstory for Echo is that there's some weird scientist guy, John C. Lilly, in the 60s or 70s. He got big into LSD, and he decided that, you know what, the dolphins are sentient and they are able to communicate with aliens. And he believed in the existence of this organization whose initials were ECCO. And that's where the Echo vibe comes from. So it's like intelligent dolphins fighting aliens in ocean space.
Wow.
Huh.
We harmonized on that. Wow. I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Right.
So when you discovered this new cheat code, you had been were you the first person to ever go down the Echo the Dolphin cheat code rabbit hole?
The blowhole, if you will.
Yeah, down the blowhole.
You don't have to, if you will, and you don't have to.
Wow.
No, so in order to do this, there's just some data on the Dreamcast disc, and it's not the things you need to enter. It's like an obfuscated version of what you need to enter. So I had to undo the obfuscation with reverse engineering. And so this involved going through 8 billion different combinations of letters on my laptop, which took, a little bit, but they all came out in the end.
What were the do you think anybody could have discovered these codes but you?
So the one that's the dolphin soccer game is just soccer. So yeah, maybe that one was discoverable.
It was just soccer.
The other ones I think are Hungarian words because all the developers are Hungarian.
Huh.
So maybe if you speak Hungarian, you could have got them. But
I just to imagine, somebody being like, fun. "Oh, I can't wait for kids to discover this." They're just waiting for someone to enter soccer.
It was you. You were waiting.
Yeah, you're the prophesized one.
Right. Let's see. Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future.
It's the last Echo
user
game.
Review.
Yeah. There's not been an Echo game since.
One was in development for the Dreamcast and it got canceled.
That's right. There is a demo disc or a demo. I mean, an early build, not a demo. Floating out.
The
there.
prototype is out. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you should take a look at that. See if you can find Soccer 2.
Yeah. you may be onto something here.
I would be very interested in that mode. One, I like Rocket League, which is what you compared it to, but also I remember playing Echo Junior on the Sega Genesis, and that had a tag or a freeze tag mode.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
That was really fun in 2-player. and I support bringing back Echo the Dolphin as a vehicle for weird arcade sports games.
Mm.
There was kind of a spiritual successor, right? Like the creator doesn't have a license, but he made kind of a game that had the right vibe a few years ago.
Oh.
Yucky, the
don't.
dolphin.
Some things I know and some things I don't know. But okay, listen, we're dancing around it. There's huge news this week, and we really have to talk about it because the last time we recorded was the day before Halloween, which means it was the day before Tails Tube dropped, which means it was the day before we got new lore about King Boom Boo.
That's right.
King Boom Boo.
We learned how his tongue became rainbow.
How his tongue, right. It was a lot of LSD. He was also really into... That's right. There was a new Tails Tube. It's like so much has happened over the last week. I completely forgotten that Tails logged on
That's right.
and offered some candy.
Knuckles and Rouge were hanging out with Tails.
Right. Shadow shows up, and then also Sonic shows up, and Knuckles, I mean, Shadow didn't keep his candy. How rude. Tails Tube number 9, Scary Story Spooktacular. And of course, the comments are turned off. Right, there's 2 spooktacular tales. The first spooktacular tale is just Rouge describing Shadow being born, because scary.
It's the year of Shadow.
All right. But yeah, the second one, the meat and potatoes of this short is, of course, King Boom Boo lore. He's a king. He had some knights, and they all die. Whoa.
How did they die, David? Why did they have to die, David?
Because the king was seeking immortality, right? There was an amulet, but he didn't realize the immortality just meant that, oh, you get to be ghosts.
Boom Boo.
Right, and then they were like, oh, we got to pay the price. And he thought, yeah, I'll pay the price with my soldiers. They're dying. But he didn't realize that, oh, he also had to pay the price. He also had to die. And now his tongue is the color of that amulet. It's, yeah. Remember that episode of Sonic X where those ghosts go into Amy? That's weird. Did you like it? Did you like the short? Did you like the lore?
For King Boom Boo?
Just like ghosts in the Sonic world, they do exist.
Yeah.
Sandopolis,
True.
the pyramid in Adventure 2, the night of the werehog.
That's right.
Just a haunted world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not uncommon for ghosts to be a known thing. And they did encounter King Boom Boo.
Mm-hmm.
And Knuckles did in particular. So
right.
Maybe it's a made up story just to scare Tails, or maybe it is the canonical absolute truth of King Boom Boo.
It's possible. Like maybe after the fact, they went back to the pyramid. We know people have. Shadow did in Dark Beginnings.
Yeah.
He checked it out. So maybe
that is true.
Maybe Tails went there and found the inscriptions and went, oh, guys, I've got a spooky story now, but I'll only tell it canonically after Sonic Frontiers. And we've just been waiting this whole time. I thought it was fun. I liked the illustrations. It felt appropriately spooky in the context of Sonic the Hedgehog, right? Knuckles doesn't comment on the fact that he fought him, though. Like, Knuckles could have been like, wait, didn't I punch him once?
Well, I also like when Knuckles fights him, he's wearing the air necklace and the sunglasses and like just looks, super cool fighting him.
Yeah.
That's right.
I fought him on vacation. How did canonically the what do you call God damn it, the thing that's on his butt where you smack it and it's sand and hourglass? Canonically, why is there an hourglass on his ass?
On his? Well, I thought the other wasn't there. Isn't there a tiny?
Or is it
ghost
inside of him?
No, it's
there's
like
a tiny
you gotta run
ghost
behind him.
Yeah. There's a tiny ghost holding it. And he's
Okay.
like, ha ha ha, you can't hit this. And it's like, yeah,
And
I
Knuckles has
can.
got to dig him when he's in shadow form.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
right.
yes,
When he's in
yes.
shadow form. Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, ghosts. Right. That's not the only ghost related news, right? I mean, it's tangentially related to Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh God. Right. What's it called? They announced.
Marza, yeah.
Yeah, Marza announced the thing, right?
I feel like they already did that, but
Or did they?
is there another new thing?
I thought they announced something new, or am I just getting confused and they just repeated the fact that it exists?
I think they're re-announcing that. Remember that weird Sonic spin-off cartoon? We're making a spin-off of the spin-off.
Right.
With the ghosts.
So they're making more ghosts. More ghosts. What's her name? Lala?
Ashlyn, do you know about the Ghost Girl?
It seems like there's a lot of ghosts going on in Sonic right now. Like, I don't know.
Okay, so very briefly, in Sonic Unleashed, Sonic and Chip, they're hopping around, and Sonic occasionally turns into a werehog. So in an advertisement for it, there's this beautifully animated short where Sonic and Chip go into this haunted house, and inside the haunted house are 2 male-coded ghosts and 1 female-coded ghost. And the male-coded ghosts are trying to impress the female-coded ghosts by scaring the people who come to the house and then taking their pictures with a Polaroid camera, showing them scared. Hijinks ensue. And at the end, I think the ghosts kidnap Chip, and one of them leaves with Sonic in the place of Chip.
Whoa.
Do I have that right?
So Chip is canonically been possessed by a ghost in the game.
Yeah, kind of. But anyway, this animation studio behind this, Marza, they do other stuff, and the people behind it have so loved this short, they've produced their fan art of their own thing, and they're finally spinning that off into its own thing.
Right. They basically tease that they're making more content, more Ghost Girl content. Right. Last year they released, it was just called A Ghost Tale, and it was another short without Sonic, but I guess it takes place in the same universe because there's so many ghosts. And now they're like, we're doubling down. So I guess we don't really know what form that will take. If it's another short, maybe what if they made 90 minutes of ghosts? Would you watch a 90-minute ghost movie that doesn't have Sonic? It takes place in Sonic's world?
No, I
Would I watch the movie Ghost?
That's actually where that movie comes from.
Do you think Patrick Swayze got the chance to play Sonic before he?
But wait a minute, I'm confused.
Yes.
So they own the Ghost Girl property legally?
So it would seem.
Is it all
right? Well,
Marza is Sega though. Marza, they're like the animation production company extension of Sega. So in fact, they also do the Paramount movies. They're one of the production companies that you'll always see listed at the beginning of the credits is Marza, and they, I assume, are among the animators of the CG creatures. I thought
and such. Did other stuff by contract as well, but that could be fake news.
That could be true. I don't know. But I think they're connected to say, I don't know. I don't know the corporate structure. I thought they were like a subsidiary of.
Send us an email. Send us an email and tell us.
Send us your corporate org chart.
If you have a corporate hierarchy flowchart, even better. We would love to hear that.
Okay.
Right.
It was formed through Sega, spinning off its CGI division.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So they are owned,
but they may be independent now. But no, their parent is still Sega.
Yes, they are under Sega, and Sega is under the fuller Sega Sammy.
But they do sometimes, like they did Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door in 2024. They did the lighting in Splatoon 2 in 2017. They did 3D models for artwork illustration. Mario Kart 8 in 2014.
Oh wow!
And even in Deluxe, 3D models
in
for
Deluxe
illustration. They're out and about. Even in Deluxe, that's right, 2017.
Wow.
Marza.
Right.
Okay, so the other big news is there's a new poster for Sonic Movie 3. Sonic and Shadow.
They're best
friends.
They look
great.
They're so cute together. I love Sonic and Shadow together.
Let's talk about it, Ashlyn, because you have played some Sonic X Shadow Generations. You've seen me play it multiple times on multiple platforms.
Every platform that exists, he's played it on.
Whoa.
You have played about half of it.
Yeah.
And you've seen the cutscenes for all of it. You have previously come on this show to say that you really enjoy Shadow. You enjoy Shadow's story in Sonic Adventure 2, which, by the way, you may recall, was the whole impetus for you getting into Sonic at all. Like, I mean, you knew that I liked it, but you were like, who's this Shadow character? And I was like, well, it's Sonic Adventure 2, but really to do Sonic Adventure 2, you've got to do Sonic Adventure. So then we did Sonic Adventure, and Sonic Adventure 2, And it kind of started from there. Then you were like, well, what's the worst one? Well, that's probably Sonic 06. You're like, we must do it. So we got a way to play Sonic 06. You loved Sonic 06. The first episode of this show, you're talking about how much you love Sonic 06.
Yeah, and I haven't
Shadow
worked
05 we
since.
didn't play, but that is the origin of David the Lurker's other project, one of his other projects, Find the Computer Room, FTCR, Shadow the Hedgehog 05, which you did play through once through to completion.
Yeah.
And anyway, you love Shadow.
Yeah, I think Shadow's the best character in the whole franchise. He's so cool, and he's so sad, and he's mad, and I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like he has the most motivation of any character, really.
It's true.
In fiction.
In fiction,
That's right.
in its entirety. Well, even in video
Yeah.
games, like when you were talking about ghosts, I was like, oh yeah, like Mario and they don't really deal with like death in their like little universes, but Shadow's like, I'm an abomination. Like I'm an abomination. I shouldn't live. I'm haunted by ghosts. He's so angry about it. He's like angry that he's alive, and that's sick. That's so cool.
That's right. All the ghosts in Mario, it feels like they've always been ghosts, but presumably they died at some point and were alive.
Yeah.
But we don't really think about the theological implications of the Mario universe. And I guess we don't really think about the theological implications of the Sonic universe, but I mean, there is definitely gods and death and an afterlife. I mean, all these things are there.
Chip is a god.
Yeah.
That's right.
All hail Chip.
He's a cool god who lives underground. He lives in the center of the earth.
A cool god.
I thought he lived in the sky, in the atmosphere.
Is that where he lives? I thought it was just every time the
I
earth
thought Dark
broke.
Guy
I thought they both
was at the
hung
core.
out
They're both
underground.
I
there?
thought they were both in the core, but
okay. 2-1. You guys get it.
So you could say like
I don't know.
the core is the yin and yang of existence, the yin and yang of Sonic's world, of Earth.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
not to use harsh words, but Chip's a bitch. Sonic rules. Sonic
Wow.
or Shadow's way more powerful than Chip. Chip is like a dumb little wing flappy idiot, and Shadow's so cool. And the new game, listen, I haven't touched Sonic Generations. I thought that game was boring and long. But Shadow Generations, it was super fun. That's my review.
Just Shadow.
Just Shadow.
Just
Yeah.
the shadow half.
My only frustration is that I think there should be a baby Shadow. Like, there's classic Sonic. Why is there not classic? I
Yeah.
know why there can't be classic Shadow, but I think that it's this far superior game. Like, they basically were like, do you want to play a game or do you want to play the much better version of the game with a cooler dude?
Mm.
I have been liking Sonic Generations a lot, and I still, I'm trying to kind of pitch you on it, but I also, feel the frustration of it going from Shadow back to Sonic. Also, you were kind of busy playing other games too when this came out.
Unfortunately, they released Shadow right next to the new Zelda game, where you get to play as Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, and that game also is super
Echo.
great. Yeah, Echo the Dolphin of Wisdom. It's actually Zelda riding around on a dolphin.
That's what I've been waiting for.
Hard to believe.
I mean, can you manifest dolphins?
You can't manifest dolphins. So the thing about the game is that it's similar to Tears of the Kingdom, where it's so much like building and joining and like grabbing. Like, that's a big part of it. But the big thing is that you can like summon monsters. So you can summon a shark, a big shark, and a piranha and a bombfish, but no dolphins, because dolphins don't attack you.
Mhm.
Oh, well, I mean, I feel like you could get a dolphin to attack you if you're a bit rude to it, right?
In fact, you can. I previously, in another life as a freelance journalist, wrote sometimes pointless articles, and one of which was about how dolphins have been used by governments,
Mm.
Russian, American, otherwise, to train dolphins to be battle dolphins. And
Battle-
I
that
think if you
means
give them enough LSD, also anything can
Yeah.
happen.
But
it's true.
well, wasn't there somebody who tried to teach a dolphin English or any human language? Like, wasn't there some
Yes.
sort
So
of?
they gave up in frustration. It's like, what? Why are the
Well,
all
I
these
feel-
letters? You don't pronounce them. And
I'm trying to remember. I feel like I heard it on This American Life once upon a time, where it was like, they interviewed one of the women who basically lived with the dolphin. And all I really remember at the end is like, okay, we have to address the fact that you and the dolphin, huh? And she was like, I'm not really going to answer that question, am
I'm not
I?
going to kiss and tell.
And I'm like, oh, that means it. Oh, and
It's
I'm
true.
like,
I've looked into this. I forget why. I remember why. I was doing a freelance gig on like a on a Nat Geo Wild web series that probably no longer exists on the internet, and somehow that led to. It was like, what are the wackiest stories about animals? And one of the wacky stories is like, yeah, this woman had sex with this dolphin.
Wow.
I mean,
oh boy.
What's her name? She hasn't. I mean,
she does have a name.
We shouldn't name her.
Zelda would never.
It wouldn't be Zelda. It's not Zelda. I don't think her name is Zelda.
If she was on This American Life talking about it, I think it's safe to say whatever her name is.
Y'all need Jesus, I guess, is part of this podcast. Or you need Chip. Y'all need
right.
Chip.
Margaret Howe.
Margaret Howe, right. She was hired.
And you know why? Because they're like, Margaret, how did that happen?
How could you do this?
It
was funded by NASA.
Oh.
So
were they going to ship the dolphin? They read Hitchhiker's Guide and went, we can have dolphins go into space? Okay, it's time to go. And which I think also connects to Echo the Dolphin. This really should be about Echo. But I guess
here's my pitch for an Echo the Dolphin.
Oh, okay.
Dating game, which is like you're playing Echo the Dolphin being played on a Sega Genesis, and you're trying to communicate to the player who's like a 3D character that you want to have sex with them. So that's your objective. Sonar. Yeah, with the sonar. You're trying to get the avatar. It's kind of like Seaman. It's like a reverse Seaman. You're trying to get the avatar character, and you can create the avatar to look and be whoever you want, but you're trying to get them to kiss the TV because they really think that Echo the Dolphin,
right?
Which is true. It's true in their reality, which is constructed for your benefit and your pleasure. It's Echo the Dolphin communicating, "Please kiss me" on the TV, and if you win, that happens.
Are there even any humans in Echo's world? Or is it like a humanless world?
I presume they're on land.
Right. We don't see land much in those games. I guess
if there was an Echo Tube, who would do Echo Tube? Is there an Echo sidekick? Echo Junior, I guess.
There is Echo. Well, isn't Echo Junior just Echo as a kid?
There's a Pico Echo too, wasn't there?
Is there a Pico Echo? I don't remember. I just remember Echo Junior, Echo Tides of Time, Defenders of the Future, and then I guess the unreleased one, which was probably canceled because they were going to make it a dating simulator. And they just didn't want to. They were like, this is too ahead of its time, which is why it's coming out this Christmas.
Yes.
Sega
Please,
could
Santa.
reboot it as a TV show. They're doing that with everything else.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, remember that Dolphin TV show?
Flipper?
Yeah, Flipper.
It was like Lassie, but underwater, right?
That's right. He's faster than
What's
lightning.
this generation's dolphin? You know what I mean?
Miami.
Miami is this generation's dolphin.
Right. Was it the plot of Ace Ventura where the dolphin of the Miami Dolphins gets kidnapped?
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't want to revisit that movie too thoroughly.
Not too hard. Just certain parts.
But it's a clever premise of like, that there would be a pet detective. That's funny. There's enough money in finding rich people's lost pets that it could be a whole gig, especially if you're a big animal lover. And then, wow, the Miami Dolphins are using it. They shouldn't.
No.
Right.
But I will say, outside of the worst part of the film, which we won't get into detail, rewatching it as an adult, I was surprised that, because it never clicked to me as a kid, that Ace Ventura is super horny and is trying to get laid all the time. And I'm like, what? I thought this was a movie for kids. I was a kid when this came out. But in the very beginning, he's like, oh, yeah, I got your dog. Now we're going to fuck. And I'm like, what? This became an animated series.
Yeah.
just like The Mask and Dumb and Dumber, which
Or Beetlejuice.
right. Well,
not Jim Carrey, but
right.
but also a horny goblin who then became an animated series protagonist.
That's right. Right. I guess he's not as horny in the cartoon.
No. It's I mean, I do think that because some of the Jim Carrey 90s movies don't like, they have those like, maybe the Sonic movies will really like are going to be among the top tier, maybe already are top tier Jim Carrey movies.
Wow.
I don't know if we discussed it on this show how in his announcement of his retirement, Jim Carrey said like, maybe I could come back if there's some script that's written in gold that I feel like is very important for the people to see, then I would do that. And then the next sentence of the Wikipedia is Jim Carrey is scheduled to appear in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 coming out 2024.
Yeah.
In a double role.
In a double role. I mean, if this is the script that was delivered from the gods.
Yeah. Or at least Pat Casey.
Yeah, if I'm one of the producers, I am printing it out in gold ink and sending it to him.
Oh, he was just like, it's in gold. It didn't occur to anyone. When are they going to make an animated series based on the Sonic movies, though?
Oh, I
feels
think
like
Sonic, Sonic Prime was their Sonic Go at. I'm sure they're doing other adaptations.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean,
I feel like Sonic Prime was them before they started executing well, though. Like they had that lined up, and then it's like, oh, what? People are giving us money for Sonic?
Right. Prime was Prime was Sega desperate for money, and I mean, I know we have the Knuckles show, which is just live action extension, but when I think about like I don't know, it feels like it should be really simple to just go, here's an animated Sonic show based in the television universe. I'm sure or the movie universe. Ben Schwartz would totally do it.
He would animate it himself if he could.
He would. James Marsden, they'll get a sound alike, assuming he's still part of this after 3. Assuming that he also doesn't get shot like Maria in the back.
Oh my
on the Space Colony
God.
Alert, in the exact same spot. And then Shadow was like, see, now you know what it's like, Sonic. And he's like, what?
Wow.
Honestly,
that's the
Shadow, I would be fine with Shadow doing that. Is that harsh to say? Shadow has had a hard life, you know? He should be able to shoot one person in the back.
No, that's not how things work.
James Marsden should become a villain, and he really is the Donut Lord.
That would be pretty sick.
Yeah.
Well, he could just be Cyclops, and depending on your take, he can lead into villain territory.
I feel like the dream of a Sonic animated series is one that is a pretty close game adaptation that can also be part of, like, you know, sort of how IDW is. It's ostensibly what Sonic Prime set out to do,
and didn't,
but then kind of undid itself right in the end. And
I just want it to be 1, good, 2, no humans, 3, have Jaleel White as the voice actor, and 4, resolve season 3 of Saturday Morning.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
that's it.
I'd also sign up for more Sonic Boom.
I love
and
Sonic
bringing
Boom.
Sticks back.
I do Boom. Boom is good. Love Boom.
Oh, they could do a direct-to-video Sonic Boom the movie. Do you think you could stretch Sonic Boom to 90 minutes?
Sonic Boom movie.
Sure, yeah.
Sonic the right.
Boom.
You could get 89. If it's 91, too much. But
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you want to bring it in under 90. So that's and yeah, you just do, you know, like 3 episodes with some connective tissue.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
I guess
you mean 6? They're 11.
They're 11 minutes long.
Okay, yeah. Well, you get a whole, you know, smorgasbord of Boom
it's 8
episodes.
episodes. We did the Sonic Boom did the 4-parter Robots in the Sky, which I guess you could say is essentially their.
But it's not very funny. That one was like
that
more
one is
action-y.
funny. Like, everything's named after New Jersey. Like,
oh yeah,
anything
There's some good
relating
gags.
to New Jersey is funny.
Yeah,
Right. So if you, and that would be 44 minutes. So if it's twice that, 88 keys, you know, they could make so many jokes about it being season 3, and like all their season 3 plots are now thrown into this 88-minute feature.
Yeah.
Would y'all watch a 3.5 hour long Sonic movie if they came up with one. Like if it was like The Irishman.
Professionally obligated, I think, for
You have
this.
to.
Yeah, if there was a Lord of the Rings extended edition of Sonic 2,
You would watch it.
I mean, these cuts exist. I probably, maybe not that long. I mean, like, because you hear sometimes about like other movies where, like, especially like Zack Snyder movies, it's like, yeah, there's like the 9-hour cut, which is too long. Even he agrees the 9-hour cut is too long, but the 5-hour cut really is like, if audiences could come around to a 5-hour movie, they'd really like Rebel Moon Part 1, Chapter A, Version 2, of his Star Wars riff.
Fake Star Wars, yeah.
But so if that existed for Sonic, yeah, of course.
Wow.
Of course.
9-hour Sonic.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
I hope they do more generation like versions. Like, do you think they'll do like a Knuckles X Sonic X
that's a great
Knuckles
idea.
generation and like do one for each character? That'd be kind of fun.
They did level packs for generations every year. I would sign up for that as a subscription. They could call it.
Wow.
Sonic
What if it was
Prime
$400?
Plus.
I'm just kidding. But I think they would like that sort of DLC. I think people really
on
live
a per
for.
hour basis.
Well, okay.
I mean,
Oh, I was going to say, so one of the
Go
things that I like wanted to talk about tonight was, I think what really sings about Shadow and what sings about, like, they say the new Zelda game is like this idea of like building off a video game that's already there instead of completely trying to reinvent the wheel. So like, you have to raise your hand, Grant. What do you have to ask? What are you asking?
Just
Grant of the pod.
I'm just wondering what. Yeah, just wondering.
Where I'm
can
going
you
with
go back
this?
to one of those words? No, not where you're going with
I'm
it.
sorry.
I assume you know where you're going with it. It was a word choice that you used twice that I had to ask about. Did you say sings?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like the movie
I
sings.
understood
Like
the
it's like
metaphor.
doing well. It's like thriving. It's feeling beautiful.
Sings. Okay. All right. Shadow sings.
Yeah, people
But
talk.
at first I thought it was.
People speak like that.
Do they?
They'll say something like "sings" if it's doing really well.
I thought it was like colorful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You think
yeah.
so?
I think
like
it's
mob
a
bosses
comment.
talk like that. Yeah, it sings.
Well, listen, you.
Sings,
It's like an
baby.
alternative to Shines.
Yeah.
Shines
Okay.
is played.
Shines, I feel like.
Shines is over. Sings is happening now.
All right, maybe
Yes.
it's a Canadian thing. I don't know.
We're singing,
Maybe
right?
it's
Well, it's you know,
Probably.
Lady Gaga sings. She sang in Joker 2, which is now out on digital.
Would you watch a Sonic musical?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah, I don't even.
know.
There, you
Surprisingly,
already have the Knuckles has
Boom
a whole
didn't do one.
musical. You watch that
That is
15
true. We
times.
have-
Yeah.
You would put it on over and over.
There was
again.
also There was also Sonic Live in Sydney, which was a musical at Sega World Sydney.
sounds fun.
With
Wait, Sega World Sydney? Why are we going to
Sega World,
Sydney?
yeah, in
There's a whole. Yeah, the 90s were wild.
Oh,
man.
it's not around
right when
anymore.
Sega had way too much money and they didn't know what to do with it. They opened up an indoor theme park in Sydney. I mean, they had a few indoor places called Sega World, but Sydney was supposed to be like, this is the future. This is a real indoor theme park in a garish, and by garish I mean the coolest building ever in the Sydney Harbor. And yeah, and there was like a puppet show where Sonic and Sally sang. Sally had a love song. She sang
Oh
it.
my
It was
God.
beautiful.
What?
And Robotnik has his own song. It's called "Give Me Chaos," and he's just singing about how much he loves being evil. And the plot is we're stranded from Mobius, and we're all in Australia. So
Is that true? I can't.
yeah,
I cannot verify.
that is
Just
true.
based on.
Here at Sonic Weekly, you can't tell if it's a riff and you can't tell if it's real.
Ashlyn, I'm very sorry that I interrupted you
Right.
about the sings, but I'm glad because now we know about this Sonic World Singing musical.
And you've got more music to listen to add to your playlist.
That's right. I don't think it's on Spotify though.
Well, I'm just
So Shadow sings.
just saying
What makes Shadow
that
sing?
Generations I didn't like because it felt confusing to me. But when they added on to make it Shadow, it feels way better to control. Like there's never a point where I felt like I was going backwards on any stage. It felt just like so easy and fun to play. And I feel like we're at a phase in video games where we can't improve the graphics too much more than already exists. Like you can't make the frame rate 10,000 frames per second, and a lot of like the gameplay, like it's not use. There's no use like throwing out and restarting from scratch. So we're getting these like prime versions of games. Like it's like, okay, we finally made the best Mario Party. Okay, we finally made the best Sonic game. Okay, we finally, like it's like they're finally reaching like better versions, and that's why it was fun to play it too. Like it was just fun to see them like add some stuff from Frontiers and be like, oh yeah, that's working here. This is fun. Like they really just took good elements from all their games instead of feeling like they needed to like add some new gimmick, which I think the Sonic team does a lot. Like they'll be like, I don't know, maybe everybody's a pool noodle in this game. But they didn't do that for this.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
but,
No.
well, I mean, he does turn into a squid. That's new. But
Yeah, that part was
this was
going to
be one of my hot takes on the previous
He was a kid, he
previous
became a
episodes.
squid.
Is that is that the dew powers are just wisps? I
Yes,
mean,
they are wisps.
they're just wisps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't.
But
But they're sick wisps. Like they're wisps, but they're like venom.
yeah,
like
yeah.
they appear. Like they're not like,
Yeah.
They're
oh,
like
these are
Hot
baby
Topic
colors.
wisps.
These are like, this is like your darkness that can't be contained, and like that's so cool.
You were wondering too when we were playing it earlier. You were like, you have a question that you wanted.
So
to bring
my
up.
question is, what do you think the like Doom wings feel like? Are they like sticky, or are they like smooth, like kind of like a stingray skin? I guess the stingray skin is sort of rough, but like, are they like a firm texture, or do you guys think they're like slimy?
Smooth like a dolphin, maybe is what?
Yeah, dolphin, like a dolphin flesh. Like, do you think Sonic's wings are dolphin flesh?
I imagine them kind of as like. I was thinking of them more like bones, like
Oh, that's
Like-
interesting.
yeah,
Right.
like dry, like in the Mario game where they throw Bowser in the lava and he turns into a skeleton in front of his child. That's pretty dark, Mario.
I love
Right, when
skeleton
he
Bowser,
dies,
and he's like still
Dry
alive.
Bowser.
Dry Bowser.
right.
Dry bones. Dry
Dry-
bones.
Yeah, why don't we call skeletons just dry humans?
Grant,
That's what I want.
when I die, if I die before you, I want you to preserve my skeleton like that, and then have a funeral, and it needs to make the dry bones like as like my arms are moving, like an animatronic.
You got it, baby. You got
2
it.
points. One of the other games that the Echo the Dolphin creator made was Mr. Bones on Saturn. Widely considered maybe not the worst Saturn game, but in the bottom
No,
5.
Mr. Bones.
Mr.
Right.
Bones.
And second point is my neighbors had this really scary Halloween gimmick, which is they had these like skeleton things in their yard that they seem to have like moved maybe like 8 inches overnight each day.
Whoa.
Right.
What?
So you're like, I
Why?
thought those were over here.
Huh.
And then the next day, wait, are those
They're doing
moving?
it just to
To
what the
scare
hell?
Yeah,
you
just to screw with you.
specifically? Do you think it was like for
Or to the
you?
neighborhood generally.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I mean that's something to do if you really want to mess with your neighbors.
Yeah.
There was just someone here who had there was a toilet with 3 skulls stacked on top of it.
Oh,
and I'm
I
like,
love that.
sure. I'll go with that. I guess that's spooky. You know, it's like oh right, because there's the Home Depot 12-foot skeleton. So of course there's also the skeleton toilet and a skeleton urinal. So you could have what was it? A spooky dookie or a
Oh God. Let's steer
scary-
out of this.
I know. This has become a strange episode, I would say.
All right. So the wings, if Venom, because I don't think Venom is sticky. He's probably sticky inside, but not outside. So I'd assume that the wings might feel sticky to Shadow inside his back, but they probably aren't sticky to the outside world.
They do seem to have like a liquid
Yeah.
viscosity. They seem to be like a thick, viscous venom, like goopy goop.
Right.
But at the same time, they do seem bone firm. So I'm going to say I don't frickin' know. What I will also say is, Ashlyn, you were making a good point about franchises earlier. Because you're right. It does feel like this past generation, Sonic and then, Zelda franchises, Mario, others, but there's been a reassessing of Frontiers does this of reassessing what they've done and taking a kind of cumulative, holistic approach to and then bottling it up into one revamped-ish version of the main formula. So basically, it's kind of like what we're wondering is like, well, what's next? Like Sonic Frontiers and Sonic X Shadow Generations have shown what it can be. So now it's been reusing a lot of past nostalgia. Mario Odyssey, similar. Zelda's. So where does it go from here? We don't know.
Okay, wait. I have one more idea that just came into my head, which is like, listen, we know this is always me on this podcast, but what about a Sonic game that just collects all the Green Hill Zone like first levels of every Sonic game? Like, and it's just like,
I'm going to be honest with you. I believe you pitched that last time you were on the show.
oh my God.
And also I'm there day one.
Yeah, day one.
But I still like
But
it.
because the thing about it is like, I think reboots in general have shown us that people will buy the same game 5 times if it gets like a bit more. There's like comfort in playing something as well, I think.
But I like your point too. It's like, we have enough assets. Just don't need to make any new assets for me. Just remix them. That's fine.
You don't need to make a new character. You could just explore Amy even a little bit. Give Amy her own game. Give us Sonic X Amy Generations.
Right. I guess that is that's definitely an avenue they could explore. One of the things that I wish they had done back in 2011 was like, oh, when you're classic Sonic, you get to see classic Tails, but you don't see classic Knuckles or Amy or any of them, right? Shadow Generations, it does open this door. I feel like Silver Generations almost makes sense because it's Hedgehog and Mephiles is sitting there and he wants to be alive. I feel like there's a story just sitting there waiting to happen. But yeah, like if it was super crazy re-release and each character had like their own mini campaign where like here's a couple new levels that are structured around Knuckles' unique playstyle, and a couple levels structured around Amy's playstyle. Like maybe you can't do all the characters that are standing there, all 9 of them. Like I don't. Maybe
you do 6 and call it an adventure.
An adventure, right?
A Sonic's
adventure. Generational adventure.
Does anyone ever call
with Shadow?
Does anyone ever call Mephiles Curly the Hedgehog because he has like the curly whirly hair?
I don't think.
What if Grant just kicked me off the podcast after that? Just like, and you're gone. You can't come back.
I would never.
There's a couple different people with OCs named Curly the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. In fact, I think I was just sharing Ashlyn the Hedgehog with Ashlyn. It's a common
internet meme. The your name the Hedgehog.
Old school meme.
The Bo the Hedgehog is a children's book from New Zealand.
Oh.
Yes, not a Sonic OC.
That's right. I swear to God, we talked about this exact.
I know we're not talking about this anymore.
Exact conversation.
But okay.
No, I'm just saying it's great. It's gold, baby. It's so gold that I'm just saying.
Is it gold or is it sad? Is
it
sad that my dreams still haven't been realized in a Sonic canon?
Right.
What is your dream?
That there should be an Amy game.
Oh,
specifically
an Amy game, right?
Oh,
I feel like the last time you brought this up, I went, "Oh well, there's Amy's American Page 1, which is a card mobile game that was on Java phones, which isn't an Amy game; it's just a card game with Amy's face on it."
And is that one preserved?
It might be.
I wonder how well the Amy tarot card set sold. Like, I do feel like there's sort of an untapped market there.
Right.
You're really good at those tarot readings. We have that deck. You could give a reading for the show.
That's a great idea.
Just the show.
You'd have to come inside, or I'd have to run it out to you.
Oh no! Yeah, y'all hold tight here. I'll go get the tarot deck for the winter tarot reading of Sonic Weekly, the podcast.
All right.
Wow.
Is like a reading good for a season? Like,
yeah, I think so.
I think. Oh. Can you do a reading for just a show? Like the vague okay. I don't.
Sure. You can't do a palm reading. The show doesn't have a palm, David.
That's true.
No, but you could
like a card reading, of course.
You can.
Right.
You're coming to it with a question, and the question is, how are you enjoying season 3 which is this current season
Oh wow.
of Sonic Weekly.
Wait, are we on 3?
We're on 3. I forget why we changed to 2.
I don't.
It may have just been that like the year changed, and then 3 is because we took a break. Like, so when we came back from break, it was like, okay, well, this is a new season then.
This is right.
Wait, what's the show's birthday? Can we get a horoscope as well?
God,
ooh, great question.
Right. How many episodes of the show exist? I was thinking about that.
87 episodes exist.
Whoa.
This is episode 88.
88 keys, right? Because 88 minutes for that Sonic Boom direct to video. That's what we're doing here, right? We gotta get.
Do you remember that Archie cover? Man, he skates on those 88s.
Right.
It's like what?
That's true.
6 maybe?
All right, can we get Mr. Boom?
In
Friends call him Sonic.
February
on the show?
16th, 2023.
Whoa, a lot's happened in the
Year.
almost 2 years since we started.
Wow.
So,
So, if you haven't had a tarot reading before, I don't know if people really do them for podcasts, but we're in for a treat because Amy Rose, she can do it for anyone. So,
yeah, I don't think
that's shuffling sound.
yeah,
right
that was the crisp sound of what's the thing where you fold it, the bridge, a well done bridge. I'm folding it. I'm shuffling it because you have to shuffle it in the presence of those who you're reading for.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and you can usually ask a specific question, or you can just ask general about the pod,
Okay.
or about Sonic's future
Right.
in the next year. That could be kind of fun.
I feel like Sonic wouldn't want to get a tarot reading
From Amy.
He'd be like,
Oh,
I don't
man,
need to.
We can't be looking at the future.
All right.
The possibilities are endless.
Well, wouldn't it be
Yeah,
like
he'd
we
just
can't be
be
looking
like,
at the
yeah.
past? Like, or is he just a present guy?
I don't want to look back or forward.
Just close this-
That's
Shut
why my
eyes
eyes
and-
look like this. I just look sideways at all
Right.
times.
Yes, Sonic is in the moment. He doesn't dwell in the past.
Mhm.
He's not obsessed with the future. He's just, he runs like the wind. He lives in the moment. He does what he wants to do. And since he's always 15, it doesn't matter for him. He's just eternally a teen, which means he will live forever because every teenager thinks they will live forever. That's before they start experiencing lower back pain.
We're the podcast of lower back pain among the Sonic podcasts. So I think we can ask like a general question of like from the show's perspective, from the show's collective perspective of, how are we doing? How is it going?
right.
And what's ahead?
How are the vibes?
So
Yeah.
we
Vibes,
draw
yeah.
3 cards in, especially for the Amy tarot deck. We do a 3-card past, present, and future pull. And the Amy card does hero pulls and dark pulls, which is similar to if you read a normal tarot deck, is the card or the card reversed.
Mhm.
So for the past of this beautiful podcast, we have a 2 of fire. Wow. 2 of fire hero draw. So in the past, you felt like for Sonic Weekly that you had a plan. You stepped out of your comfort zone to create a new podcast that has far-reaching audiences and meanings. This card is all about sort of stepping out into something, which is very good for the past, and it can indicate something as grand as leaving home. And it's all about how this draw fits into the context of the past of this. And then for the present, you have the Queen of Fire. I also feel like Sonic, actually speaking to the past of it, I also feel like Sonic the franchise itself has really stepped out in the last few years, has really like kind of grown and like reached a whole new audience. It sort of slumbered for a little bit. And then with the movies and like some of the newer game releases, it's really clear that it's like kind of really reached out to try to make something new. All right, now we have the Queen of Fire, which is our present. All right, so the Queen of Fire, oh, wow. Currently, at this moment, Sonic in this podcast is like Blaze. You're courageous. This card has a picture of Blaze floating in the air. Should lift this up for the camera. Floating in the air. You face adversity with determination. You're bringing warmth and joy to others. And news. There's a degree of grace and dignity in this card's meaning. So right now, I think that this means like there's a confidence that sort of happens with Sonic as a franchise. You feel like, hey, we're leading this. We're like settled into it. We have dignity as we like start to conquer these challenges. And it's really specific. Like this card is all about like taking a challenge and like really hitting it face on. All right, so I will say that the last card is the Ace of Fire, but it's the dark pull. So hopefully this isn't like something really scary.
Can't wait.
Oh, wow. I mean, you told me to read this.
King Boo Boo.
It's actually King Boo Boo.
Wait, so you should read the card and then your interpretation of it so that we know.
All right, dark draw. Ace, you're just not feeling it right now. You don't have the energy to get moving. It's hard to be inspired when you're bored. This draw suggests a lack of passion, which might mean you need to take a break or ask what got you started on this path to begin with. Wow.
Wow.
I mean, I would say right now, with this present card being the queen, this is like right now we're on a high. We have Sonic X Shadow Generations. We have Sonic 3 movie. We're getting all this like tasty, yummy Sonic content. And also, we're just like thriving in Sonic World. But there is going to be a time in the future, this is what the Ace of Cards is telling us, where y'all are going to get bored and you're going to want to be like, Sonic sucks. I don't want to play Sonic. It's boring. All they do is Sonic X Amy Generations and Sonic X Knuckles Generations. And when is my newest game? And I think what this card is saying is like, it's normal to have periods where, right now we're in a very thriving period in the franchise, but it's normal for it to like go fallow and like to need to like have something a little bit more boring before it gets rejuvenated again.
Oh,
wow.
That's my reading of it.
right.
Well done. Well done. Applause there. Great reading. Eerily accurate. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
I mean, to peel back the curtain, Grant, you were like, "Hey, should we take a couple weeks off?"
I did send that message, just yesterday or whenever.
Right.
It was.
I don't think we're taking the next couple weeks off, but we are going to have a break at some point soonish.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
It is weird to sort of preface this reading with like, or like to sort of state this reading as like, Sonic fans have been eating so good, they need to be prepared to have nothing to eat. Because
I mean, it would be nice for it to be quiet for a while. Like it has been like such a like relentless pace after the movie. We don't really know what's next. We have no idea what comes after that. And then in terms of breaks, I mean, I think obviously with holidays coming up, we'll probably be taking maybe more weeks off here and there, but I don't know if we're going to take like a prolonged break because we just scheduled a couple of guests. So look forward to that. But yeah, I mean, we'll probably be in and out as hosts because holidays and things to do and life and so on.
Right.
Not because the passion is waning.
And also because
My
it's like,
sweet passion.
I've been playing another Sega game on the Nintendo Switch as well, which is Yakuza. They just brought that to Switch, the remake of the first game, Yakuza Kiwami. It's really fun. I tried playing one of the games before, and I didn't really take to it. But this one, I feel like the Shenmue DNA is more readily apparent with it. And then someone was pointing out that there is Shenmue crossover in terms of the developers, right? Is that true?
I think that is true. I think there are people who worked on both.
Right.
I dipped a toe into the Shenmue hacking, and the people who have been hacking Shenmue for 20 years, like politely told me, like, buddy, we've seen it all.
We got this.
Come looking around here.
Wow.
Fair enough.
I can't wait for you to say to that someone about Echo the Dolphin, having some like young upstart being like, I think I've hacked Echo the Dolphin. And you can be like, get out of here, bud.
Yeah, kid.
Get out of town.
There's nothing here for you.
Get back in the ocean, bud.
All right. Well, it's been an hour, so legally we have to wrap it up. Ashlyn, thank you so much, and David, thank you so much. And here is Empire City.
Oh, you're right. Oh man,
We're back.
I miss the chill of this track. You know, like the hub world music, white space music. That's good from Shadow, but like that's not what you're listening to when you're in your car with your best gal or guy or non-binary partner, driving through the streets of Tokyo, looking up at the full moon, sipping cola, looking for a bar to find some karaoke and good times. And of course, you won't park until you've reached the end of another episode of Sonic Weekly, the only Sonic podcast that comes out once every 7 days or so that's called Sonic Weekly. Yeah. Hey, and if you've enjoyed it, if you've enjoyed this episode, if you've enjoyed any episode, maybe you should look at that podcatcher of choice and subscribe to this show. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict for the Android faithful, because hey, you listen to podcasts on the go. Where else are you listening to them? You can leave a review, give us one of those sweet 5 stars that I keep on hearing all the kids talk about. If you're in this modern world and you reject all podcatchers, we are also over on YouTube at Sonic-Weekly. You can like, comment, and subscribe on any of the videos over there. And it's not just audio, there's gameplay footage by a friend of the show, Jack of Old Games. He's gaming, so you don't have to, but you can if you want. Why wouldn't you? Yeah. Hey, if you want to reach out to the show, we still have that email address, sonicweeklypodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a line. We do have...
Son of a bitch, yeah. We had listener... Well, next week. We'll get to listener mail next week.
Yeah. So, hey, you can slip it in there. We try to do it pretty frequently now. Let us know what's on your mind, what you want us to talk about. And you can ask, of course, for the link to our Discord server. And you can talk to some like-minded Sonic the Hedgehog fans about many things, including Sonic the Hedgehog. Whoa. But there's another way to get that Discord link, and that's if you have a little extra scratch in the wallet and want to help support this show financially in hosting and editing and all the other wonderful ways that keep the gears turning, the time eater gears turning, we have the Ko-fi. We're just Sonic Weekly over there, and as mentioned at the top of the show, there are some goodies that you can get from Wife of the Grant, Ashlyn. There she was here. She's still here. She's just listening.
You can get stickers.
Yeah, you
or
can
maybe an etched print of Sonic the Hedgehog being cool. Who knows what's going to happen this month?
Whoa, it's a wide variety. That's right. You can throw in a tip, like a one-time tip, or hey, there is the executive producer, for $5 a month. And of course, we still got them rolling. It's Pig Dan, Babsy, Sonicu, Saving Throws, and Cal. Look at them go. Thank you, all of our executive producers. Thank you, the listeners of this show. Just listening helps us because it lets us know that you're out there and you want to hear what we have to say. And of course, once again, I'm going to thank Ashlyn because she was the guest. That's what we always do. We thank everyone, and then we got to thank Smoovies for the edit. He's the one that puts this all together, and we get to hear it. We get to simmer in it. While I thank Bo, the master and commander of the Rings of Saturn. And of course, thank Grant. He is the captain of the ship and the captain of our hearts.
Thank you, David. Bye-bye.